Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing really well. Welcome to today's session. In today's session, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to share a story from my previous job experience. A story from my previous job which helped me understand how powerful SQL joins are. I think SQL joins are magical when you're working with databases. And I'm also excited for you guys because we'll be also working on solving a real life problem that people face in their workplaces. So let's try to dive deep into how we can make use of SQL joins and also try to understand the different types of joins that we can work with. So picture this. I was working with an online store. The company had an online store just like Amazon does. So they sold machines, electronics, gadgets, clothes, different kinds of items on their website. So I was given to take responsibility of two important tables. One was the customer table, which consisted of customer details, and the other table was the orders table. So the orders table had the information about different types of orders that were made. So my task was simple. It was to find out who ordered what and why some customers were upset about their missing products. So let me take you back to one situation in the office that I had. So one Monday morning, our customer support team started receiving calls from angry customers. Let me introduce you to some of the customers. The first customer was Ravi. So Ravi had ordered a washing machine, but it hadn't arrived yet. The second customer that we had was Priya. So Priya had ordered herself a laptop, but it was lost in the system. So she was giving calls to the customer team about getting to know where her laptop was. The third customer was Amit. So Amit was complaining about some faulty microwave that he has received. So the sales team was looking to track down these customers and their orders. And guess what? Who got the job of finding out what was going on? Yes, it was me. So let me take you to the two tables that I had to work with to get the answers. So the first table is the customer's table, as you can see over here, that we are having customer ID, customer name and their age, and some entries for customers. And we can also see that we're having an orders table with the order ID, customer ID, product, their amount, and their status. So the first thing that I used was inner joins. Why? Because I wanted to see only the customers who actually placed orders. If they didn't place any order, I didn't need to worry about them just yet. So let's try to understand what is an inner join. So inner join is a type of SQL join that combines rows from two tables based on a certain condition. And it only returns the rows where there is a match in both the tables. So for every customer in customer table, I'll get the orders from the orders table if they have placed any order. So let's take a look at the syntax for how we work with inner joins. The syntax is exactly similar to how we make a query for a normal join. So the only thing that we add is that instead of writing join, we write inner join. So let's take a look at the syntax once again. So we make use of the select statement and we specify the column that we want to fetch. And then we specify the table that we are working with. So we make use of from and then we specify the name of the table. And then we make use of inner join to specify the second table. So we want to join table 1 to table 2. So then we specify the column which is common between both the tables. So over here, I've created two tables, a customer table and an orders table, and I've created some default values in it. So let's try to run an inner join query on these tables. So let's try to get customer's ID, customer's name, and then customer's age. And also let's try to get order ID, orders, the product that one has ordered, the amount, and what's the status of the order. All right, and let's try to get the values from customers and make an inner join on orders table. And then we want to specify the column on which we want to make the joins. So we can see that customer ID is something which is common in both the tables. So we can get the values on the basis of customer's ID. So we can get the values for the respective columns from the orders table using customer's ID. So customer's ID from customer's table and customer's ID from the orders table. Let's try to run this. All right, so over here, we can see that we have received the customer's ID with their name, age, the order ID with their details of product, amount, and status. So over here, we can see that Ravi and Priya show up because they have placed the orders. However, if we will focus on Priya's order, we can see that Priya's order is pending. From the status, we can see that Priya's order is pending. On the other hand, we can see that Ravi's order is shipped. Now, if we will look at Priya's problem, we can recall that she was calling customer support, complaining that her laptop was lost in the system. However, when I checked her order details, I saw that her status was listed as pending. This wasn't the database issue, but an issue with the order status not being updated to shipped. I took the immediate action. I updated her order status to shipped and made sure that her laptop was on its way to her. Once we updated the status of the Priya's order from pending to shipped, Priya received her order details and the problem was solved. This was a great reminder that sometimes issues aren't about missing data, but rather how the system is handling and updating the data. Okay, next I wanted to see all the customers, not only the one who have placed their orders, but every customer. For this, I used left outer join. With a left join, I could see every customer, even those who didn't make a purchase. That way, I wouldn't miss anyone who might be complaining for no reason. So what is a left outer join? A left outer join returns all the records from the left table, over here, the customer table, and the matched records from the right table. If there is no match, the result will still include the customer details, but with null values for the missing information. So let's take a look at the query for how we make use of left joins. So the syntax for making use of left join is similar to how we made use of inner join. The only change that we do is instead of using inner, we make use of left. So using this same table, let's try to copy the same query. And instead of using inner, let's try to use left. And let's try to click on run. So over here, we are getting all the entries from the column table and their respective entries in the orders table. But over here, we can see that Amit, which doesn't have an entry on the orders table, even his values are returned. Since Amit doesn't have a match on the orders table, the order details for Amit is shown as null. So this confirmed that Amit's complaint about a microwave was totally irrelevant. Now, I had a complete list of customers and I knew that Amit list was unrelating to a missing order and it was a faulty call that a customer was making. So by making use of the left join, I was able to solve the issue of Amit's complaint. And also I was able to get the details of all the customers, whether they had placed an order or they have not. Okay, now remember the strange order with customer ID 4. So there was no customer with this ID in the customers table. To figure out who placed that order, I made use of right outer join. This helped me see all the orders, even those without a matching customer. What is a right outer join? A right outer join returns all the records from the right table, in this case, the orders table, and the matching records from the left table. If there's no match, it returns null value for the left table. So the syntax for writing right join is exactly similar to how we make use of inner join and left join. But the only difference is that instead of mentioning left or inner, we specify the keyword right. Let's try to run this. Let's try to copy this and paste it over here. And then let's try to specify right instead of left. So the right will specify the table which is to the right side of joins. Over here, we are having orders. So it will specify all the values for orders and their respective details in the customers table. If it is not present, it will return null as their matching values. Let's try to run this. So over here, we can see that orders. So over here, we can see that every order with the ID 101, 102, and 103, they are retrieved irrespective of if they had a customer attached to it or not. So we can see that the customer order with Blender is showing up with a null customer ID and customer name. So this means that customer 4 doesn't exist in the customers table. and we have a data issue. So this issue was flagged as an important problem for the database team to fix. So by making use of the inner and outer joins, I was able to figure out the problems of the customers. Finally, I wanted to see everything, all the customers, all the orders, even if they didn't match, even if they didn't have their matching entries in the other table. So this is where full outer joins come in handy. We can make use of full outer joins for SQL Server, or we can make use of the union command. So with union command, or we can say full outer join, I could see every single user, every single customer, and their every single order, even if there wasn't a match. So a full outer join returns all the records when there is a match in either the left or the right table. If there is no match, the result will still include the customer or the orders table with null as the value for all those columns. So like we discussed, a full outer join return all the records when there is a match in either the left, which is the customer table, or the right, which is the order table. If there's no match, the result will still include the customer or the order with null as the missing value. So the syntax for working with full outer join is exactly similar to how we work with other joins. The only difference is that instead of using inner keyword or outer keyword or right or left keyword, we make use of full outer keyword. But there is one catch that we want to understand here. So when we are working with a MySQL server doesn't support the use case of full outer joins. So in those cases, we can have the same functionality by making use of union. So what we can do, so right now over here we have seen that this is a left join and this is the right join. So we can use union in between them. So union will add the results from the left join and the right join. Let's try to run this. So over here in this table, we can see that we are having customers with the customer ID 123 and their orders as well. If they do not have their orders, we are having null as the missing value. And also we are having all the orders with ID 101, 102, and 103. And if the customer is not there, then we are having a missing value for a customer as null. So we are having the combined value of a left and right joins. Let's try to make use of full outer join in a SQL server. So for doing that, let's go to a SQL server. And instead of using union, we can make use of the keyword full outer join. So let's try to copy the previous return statements and comment this. So instead of right join, we are supposed to write full outer. So we are selecting the columns from both the tables, and then we are trying to make join on customer with the order, and the join that we are trying to use is a full outer join. Let's try to run this. So over here itself, we can see that we are having the same table that we were having previously. So we are having customer ID, the 3 customers ID, and if they do not have a matching value, we are having null. And also we are having all the values from order table. So we are having 01, 02, 03, 101, 102, 103. And if they do not have a matching value in the customer, we are having null as the missing value. So in this video, we got to learn about different types of joins as inner join, outer joins, left join, right joins. So joins helps us combine information from different table, like linking customers with the orders to get a complete view of what the values are. It also helped us to identify and fix problems. So by making use of join, we can quickly find missing or incorrect data like Priya's pending order and resolve it. So join also helped us in giving the accurate data and better service. So by making use of joins, we can keep our data up to date and resolve it. I hope you had a good time learning more about different types of joins and how we can make use of these joins for solving different problems in our databases. Thank you for joining, everyone. Happy coding.